If you're a high-earning Filipino professional who still feels behind despite a strong paycheck, well, this one's for you. The quiet risk at your level isn't income. It's the absence of a working budget system. In client work, I've seen budget drift steal more progress than any single bad purchase. We're not rebuilding the template here, okay? Videos 2 and 3 of this budgeting series already cover the how. But today, we'll pressure test what you have in under 10 minutes. A quick recap of the budgeting method, a quick self-check to spot gaps, and a clear look at what those gaps are costing you in terms of money, headspace, and even friction at home. By the end, you'll know whether you truly have a system, what it's costing if you don't, and the clean next step to install and maintain it, including how we can do this with you inside the Beacon Financial Mastery Program. If you're ready to stop guessing, book a free discovery call for our program. There's no pressure there. It's simply a structured conversation to see if we can help you build a system around your real life. You'll find the link in the show notes or in the description below. Okay, so here's the recap of our series so far. In video 1, we reframe budgeting from backward-looking expense tracking to a forward-looking cash flow system with clear rules, account lanes, and a 12-month view so that your money is assigned before it's spent and decisions stop feeling reactive. We explained why tracking feels productive but fails at higher incomes, then defined what the real budget is and what tracking only quietly costs you in terms of money, headspace, and friction at home. In video 2, we showed you how to upgrade from a monthly mindset to a one-page 12-month zero-based budget so that every peso has a job and predictable big expenses stop ambushing you. You'll plot your income, fund priority goals first, including seasonal big expenses and unexpected but inevitable expenses, and use a zero-based check to plan ahead for the year. In video 3, we explained how to run your 12-month budget in real life with a simple 4-account setup and an allowance method so that variable spending behaves without tracking receipts. You'll add a payday funding rhythm and quick fixes so the plan holds even during busy seasons. In video 4, we asserted that budgeting doesn't fail because of your income or willpower. It fails when the system isn't designed to run under real life load, and shows how to make your budget stick with defaults, cadence, light friction, and a few strong rules. It ties the series together by revisiting the 12-month view and account lanes, then gives a simple mental model so that high earners like you can run their budget without it becoming a second job. Put together, the system is straightforward. Plan your priorities, see the 12-month view, run your money through account lanes, and keep a steady rhythm of doing this month in, month out. Now, a simple self-check. Which piece did you not implement yet? The 12-month view, account lanes, the allowance rule, or the weekly or payday rhythm? Whatever you didn't implement is the bottleneck. And this is important, okay? You don't need to try harder. You just need to complete the system. If you're not ready for a call yet, but you want to see how the whole Beacon system fits together, then watch our free training. It's called the Starter Kit. The link is in the description or show notes. Now let's talk about the cost of not having a real budget. You see, when you don't have a real budgeting system, a few things happen quietly and they're expensive. Cost number 1 is idle cash drift. Money sits unassigned because you're not sure what it's for. You don't have a plan for it. You see a balance in some account and you think, okay, we have money. But you don't know what portion is for tuition, what portion is for upcoming renewals, what portion is for goals, what portion is buffer. So the money just drifts. It just coasts along. It just waits. And the problem with this is that it tends to be spent later on anyway. Cost number 2, missed compounding. You see, without a budget, goals get funded late or inconsistently. Investing in goal funding isn't magic. It's all about consistency. So if your pattern is invest whatever is left, then funding becomes random. Random funding creates slow progress no matter how high your income is. Cost number 3, overpaying for inefficiencies. Fixed costs stay bloated without a budget because you never reevaluate them. This is common with high-income professionals. Over time, you accumulate insurance policies, subscriptions, upgrades, convenience costs, and because your income can handle it, nobody forces a redesign. But just because you can pay for it doesn't mean it's efficient. Cost number 4, bad timing decisions. You say yes to expenses that should have been planned months earlier. You book travel late because it wasn't funded monthly. You scramble for renewals because they weren't parked in a lane. You borrow from savings for something predictable because the system didn't separate it. And the cost of bad timing is often higher than the cost of the item itself because it forces trade offs you didn't choose consciously. So pick one delayed goal, just one. Is it that house down payment, education funding for your kids, investing consistency, a business fund, a specific financial freedom goal? Pick any one of those and ask yourself, what would happen if you funded it consistently for the next 12 months versus just using leftover cash? Write down the number you should be funding every month and then compare it to what you actually fund. And this is usually where we should get honest. Not because we can't afford it, but because our cash flow has no operating system directing it. Now let's look at the emotional cost of not doing a budget. High earners don't typically feel broke. They feel overloaded. Loaded with responsibilities, loaded with decisions, and the emotional cost shows up in things like decision fatigue. You're making too many micro decisions, too little clarity. Like, can we really afford this? Is this a good month to do it? What else is coming up? If we say yes now, what gets delayed? If your brain is doing that every week, that's a system problem. Another thing that contributes to emotional cost is that quiet guilt. This is subtle but real. Because you earn well, you're capable, you work hard, and yet money feels oddly uncontrolled. Not chaotic, just not the way it's supposed to be. And because you're competent, you almost feel like you should have figured it out by now. But again, it's not your intelligence that's the issue. It's system design. So name the recurring moment of stress when it comes to your spending. Maybe it's when a big month of expenses arrives and catches you off guard. Or maybe the times when family obligations pile up. Or when travel happens too close together. Or when renewals and maintenance expenses happen in the same quarter. Or maybe when you're comparing priorities with your spouse and they're different. And maybe it's when you realize we didn't plan for this, even though it happens every year. These patterns are exactly what a budget system is supposed to remove. You see, a good system doesn't just manage money, it reduces mental load. Now, let's look at the relational cost of not having a budget. Money friction at home is rarely about the purchases that we make. It's usually about uncertainty. You say one person might think, yeah, I think we're okay. While the other person thinks, I'm not too sure about that. And without a clear system, both are reacting to feelings, not facts. So the conversations turn into, but I thought we were fine. Or why does it feel like we're always adjusting? Didn't we already plan for this? Or why didn't we plan for this? Are we making progress? Or are we surviving month to month? Even if you love each other and you have good intentions, uncertainty creates tension. So think about it for a moment. What's the most common money friction point at home? And here's a deeper question. If your budgeting system was clear, what decision would you both make faster and with less emotion? That's the promise of structure. Fewer debates, more clarity. Now, what changes when you have a real system? Well, 3 things change. First, clarity. You know what exactly is happening this month and this year. You can see the heavy months before they arrive, and you don't get surprised by predictable but seasonal expenses. Second, confidence. When you're on a budget, you can say yes or no with peace because you know the trade-offs. It's not because you're strict, it's because you're informed. And thirdly, peace of mind. Because here, the system will do the heavy lifting so that your brain doesn't have to. That's what high-performing people need, a system that runs even when life is full. Now, I'd like you to imagine the next heavy month of expenses, but this time you have a 12-month plan, lanes for seasonal big expenses and unexpected but inevitable expenses, allowance rules for variable spending, and a simple rhythm you repeat. What decision will become easier immediately? Usually it's something like, yes, we can do this trip because it's already funded. Or, no, not this month because we know what's coming next. Or, yes, but it means we delay this other goal by 1 month. Are we okay with that? A real system turns vague anxiety into clear trade-offs. This is where I want to be very clear about what the Beacon Financial Mastery Program is and what it isn't. BFM isn't tips. It's not, here's a template, God bless, and do it yourself. No, it's a guided program done with you. And we go through several steps to help you shape up in your finances. Step 1, we will clarify your priorities and goals, followed by step 2, designing your cash flow operating system, which is a topic of this series. Step 3, optimizing your insurance protection so that the costs and coverage match your plan. Step 4, eliminate consumer debt from your life. Step 5, right size your emergency buffers so you're safe without overparking cash. And step 6 and onwards, it's setting investing direction so that your surplus actually builds wealth. The value of the program isn't just in knowing these things, it actually comes when you have a guide like us doing these things with you. So, if you want this built around your real income pattern, responsibilities, and goals, your next step is the discovery call. Not because you're incapable, but because a professional system is faster to build and easier to keep. Now, if this describes you and you're ready to stop guessing, why not book a free Beacon Financial Mastery discovery call? The link is in the description or show notes. If you want to warm up first, well, the free starter kit is also linked. But if you're serious about building the system, the call is the fastest way to get clarity. If this happens to be your first video in the Beacon Wealth PH channel, well, I suggest you start with video number 1, Tracking Isn't Budgeting. If you want a step-by-step build, binge on the Money Systems for High Earners Budgeting playlist. And if you're done guessing and you want this built properly around your life, book the discovery call through the link below. It's been great walking you through this budgeting deep dive series for high-performing Filipino professionals. My hope is you're walking away with something rare, a clearer way to think about your money, and a simpler next step to act on it. And if there's one takeaway to keep, it's this. Clarity doesn't come from tracking harder. It comes from building a system you can run. I'm Juan Casas from Beacon Wealth Advisory. Thanks for joining us.